Internships. It's a word thrown around by so many people these days. From your professor, your lecturer, your tutor, your friends, your colleagues, your mum, your dad.
2 hours later.
The second aunt twice removed, the cyclist, the commentator, Shane Warne, they all talk about internships. With internships being in the media over the last few weeks, with the government's new PATH program,
I don't necessarily think that it is a good program. I think that it's admirable that they want to try and take a position that was originally for like unpaid and give some monetary value to it.
It seems that this is less about helping students and more about helping the big end of town. It's fundamentally exploitation.
and of course, Mamma Mia selling one off for $10,000.
It's basically making internships even more inaccessible than they already are.
USyd Update is going to look at how you can get the best out of your internship. We need to consider why there is an increasing importance on internships. There's a systemic problem that we need experience to get jobs, but we need jobs to get experience. But when the university is complicit in the organisation of these internships, to the extent where for some units you're having to pay to do an unpaid internship, it just seems absurd. And the fact that some students in higher education are paying as much as $3,000 to do internships at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and then they're just getting tossed aside after 3 months. So what's the point of these internships if they're not actually increasing your employability or not giving you any experience? Youth unemployment in Australia sits at around 12%, and whilst it is down on previous figures, it is still more than double the overall rate in Australia. The growth of internships has been seen as a way to curtail the lack of opportunities for young employment seekers, as shown by the government's new PATH program. But is it a way for employers to get work done without having to pay wages? Internships, once the best way to gain experience and build your resume, are worryingly becoming a field for corporations to exploit students and make money. That being said, let's look at the legality surrounding unpaid internships. An unpaid work experience arrangement or unpaid internship can be lawful if it is a vocational placement or if there is no employment relationship found to exist. In particular, it must involve the person doing productive work. The main benefit of the arrangement should be to the person doing the placement, and finally, it must be clear that the person is receiving a meaningful learning experience, training, or skill development. This piece is not to take away from internships or unpaid internships, as more often or not, they do provide some level of personal benefit and provide you with a great experience of what working in a certain industry is like. But why is there so much of a legal grey area when it comes to internships? Working out what an employment relationship is incredibly hard, as the Fair Work Act doesn't have a definition. It is deemed a case-by-case scenario that if you are doing a job that someone else is being paid for, and if you are working with the primary benefit for the business, then you are entitled to a minimum wage and any applicable awards that come with it. So if your internship is just getting coffees or printing documents and you're not getting any experience out of it, it's time to either have a chat to your boss or contact the Fair Work Ombudsman.